Imagine you work your whole life as a corn farmer, but one day you hear a voice telling you to build a baseball field in place of your cornfield. Now imagine someone close to you is trying to convince you to sell your farm because you are completely broke, but a man that you had just met a few days before is trying to convince you otherwise with a speech based around a few words and a belief. People will come, Ray. Does this sound crazy? Well, maybe not if the speaker is James Earl Jones. In Field of Dreams, James Earl Jones' character, Terrence Mann, delivers a perfect, persuasive, and inspirational speech to convince Kevin Costner's character, Ray Kinsella, not to sell his farm, and to continue with his dream, or almost a fantasy. It is one of the best speeches in any movie. Field of Dreams is my favorite baseball movie, having seen it at least 20 times, so I know all about this speech. And today I'm going to explain the speech's significance to me, what James Earl Jones does well in his speech, and what he could improve on. I'll start out by outlining its significance to me. Growing up around baseball, I've seen just about every baseball movie made, but one of the first I saw was Field of Dreams. Every time I watch it, I'm hooked to the TV, and especially when we get to the point where James Earl Jones gives his "People Will Come, Ray" speech. I get goosebumps when I see it. And I guess I've never really thought about its significance to me, though. With a lot of speeches, when they end, I think, wow, that was a great speech, or the speaker did a great job, but it pretty much ends there. But that's not really the case with this one. I get inspired when I listen to his speech, and I'm reminded of the beauty and majesty of baseball. To me, his speech encompasses what the movie is all about. If you have a dream, follow it. It may not seem like it's going to work out right away, but if you continue to believe in it and keep pushing, it'll all be worthwhile. This speech is about passion and faith, and I think those are the reasons why this speech is significant to me. There's a lot that James Earl Jones does well to get his point across in this speech. Although you can't teach it, his voice is the first factor in making the speech memorable. The deep, booming voice he possesses overpowers the higher voice of Ray's brother-in-law. He hooks Ray with one simple line at the beginning, "People will come, Ray." It evokes a little mystery and interest from Ray, as he doesn't exactly know where James Earl Jones is going with this and what he's talking about. Now James Earl Jones continues to repeat this line, "People will come, Ray," to get it to stick in Ray's head and the rest of the audience. As he continues talking, he definitely gets an emotional response from the audience. At first glance, it may seem like he's only speaking to an audience of one, with that one being Kevin Costner's character, Ray Kinsella. But you can see that that's not really the case. Although he is speaking to Ray, Ray's brother-in-law responds to this speech because he sees that James Earl Jones is convincing Ray to not sell his farm and to continue his belief. He interrupts James Earl Jones with the attempt to get Ray to sell the farm. Now as the speech continues, he gets even more people to listen as the baseball players that are playing start walking towards him. They stop their game completely just to listen to James Earl Jones speak. Now another way he convinces Ray Kinsella to keep his farm is by utilizing his space well. James Earl Jones walks towards the field that Ray built, allowing Ray to not only listen to the speech, but look at all he created and everything that is yet to come on this field. The field's a great natural visual aid, and it really enhances the meaning of the speech. And those are some of the things that James Earl Jones did well in his speech. Now even though this is a great speech and delivered really well, there are some things that he could have improved on. But I felt like I had to be a bit nitpicky when looking at these things, because it was tough to criticize. In terms of his vocal delivery, I feel like it was pretty flawless, as it's tough to criticize James Earl Jones' voice in the first place. But the first negative thing I noticed was his hand gestures, or lack thereof. He really only used one hand gesture, and that was when he said, "The memories will be so thick they'll have to brush them away from their face." That one brushing of the hand was really the only hand gesture, as he pretty much kept him by his side the rest of the time. I feel like as he's standing out on the field, he could have used his hands to point around the field, point at the players, or something to that effect to enhance it. Another point of criticism I have is how he ended the speech. Even though he tied it well with the beginning by using the same quote, "People will come, Ray," he sat down and turned around before finishing the speech. I think he should have finished the speech standing up, looking Ray in the face, and allowing Ray to still look out on the field, instead of looking down to the right at the bleachers. I feel like this would have gotten his point across even more. So even though there was a few things that James Earl Jones could work on, the positives of this speech outweigh the negatives. The persuasion and inspiration used makes it one of the greatest speeches in any movies of all time. So the next time you watch Field of Dreams and see the speech, take the time to think about its meaning. And maybe the goosebumps will form and you will get inspired like me.